Hello, so we just thought we'd sit here. Well, first of all, who's this? You've seen her before, right? Who is this person?
Maybe one time.
One time in the Harry Potter game review. This is my lovely wife, and she's here as the theme park expert.
Oh, don't call me that. I don't think I'm an expert.
She used to work at a theme park, so she has a unique perspective. Now, she didn't actually work as a ride operator. She didn't work in the theme park. She worked behind the scenes. She was in the administrative office side of it. She worked there for many years at this particular theme park, so she does have a specific view and kind of a behind the scenes idea of how theme parks operate. She's also a huge theme park fan, mostly Disney though.
Yeah, that's probably true.
So we're gonna go through and basically give you our thoughts of Legoland, but I'm going to try to make it more geared toward a Atlanta Brick Co. employee and a Lego collector and a Lego fan, not just theme park fan. Let's start. Hot take. Legoland, go.
It's a fun park for younger aged kids. There are a few thrilling rides. We have twin boys that are 7 and a 3-year-old daughter. For our 7-year-old boys, it was the perfect age for them to enjoy. They pretty much could ride everything, right?
There was not one they were too small for.
There were a couple of rides that they had to ride with an adult. They couldn't ride it on their own. For our 3-year-old,
she wasn't tall enough to ride about, what did we say, 8 rides?
It was like 8 or 9.
Keep that in mind. Look at the size charts. Make sure your child is the right height and plan accordingly. However, there is a Duplo area. It is for younger kids. There's a small splash pad area. When I had her just by myself, she took the boys to go ride some bigger rides, and I took her to Duplo area. She loved it. Kids love water. Kids, I don't know why. Kids just love water. So we rode a couple of the small little rides, and then she just played in the splash pad. She was totally fine with that. But overall, the park is for younger children, and we were told that.
I would say that, like, on the high end, I would say 12 of enjoying Legoland by itself.
Yeah, not that you might have you're 12, you can't go. Not like that, but I mean, gauge it by your own child. But if they're thrill ride seekers and they're in the 10, 11, 12 range, they might just want to go to Six Flags or somewhere else.
Or Universal. If they're in the Orlando area.
Very general, vague sense. This park is for younger children and families with younger children. On the plus side of that, you didn't see too many just teenagers by themselves or just adults by themselves. It was mostly families. So like when your kid's acting up, they're like, yeah, I understand.
I felt like the model citizens, that's what they
call
their employees. I gotta say, everybody that we interacted with was very, very nice, extremely friendly. I felt like they went above and beyond. The very first ride that we went to was a ride that our 3-year-old couldn't get on, not even with an adult. So we tried to distract her. The ride operator actually let us see the cameras as the boys were riding to distract her. He's like, there they go. Not only that, he actually gave us an awesome pass that would let us go to the front of the line on the first ride that we could go to that she could ride. They went out of their way to do something special for our family just because she couldn't get on with them. Sorry.
And everyone was like that. We're just walking down by this area where they have the mini golf, and they had these brick-built butterflies and all this beautiful stuff, and they had just a walkway that you could just walk by the lake. We passed some maintenance men, and I jokingly said to the boys, watch out, there's alligators. And the maintenance guy turned around and said, yeah, you want to know something? Don't tell anyone this. We're draining a pool over here, and there's a little baby alligator. My boy's like, oh. So he showed us how to get there. We walked and we saw a little baby alligator in there. So it is Florida. There's alligators everywhere. Be careful. I thought there was a light out in our room, and when I called, they came, and it was the same 2 guys. And I was like, sorry, I made a mistake. I just couldn't find the light switch. I'm an idiot. And they were like, oh, no. Did you see that alligator? They remembered us. So everyone was like that. The people who took care of the rooms, the front desk people, everyone just went above and beyond. Like they really actually enjoyed working and being there. Yeah.
We had a great experience as far as the employees, the model citizens.
Yeah. And that awesome pass, basically, I don't know which employees are allowed to get it, but we got 2 there. The first one was the guy she told us about. Basically, it has several options, and they can check off which one. And one of them is a line skip. Another one was like the apple fries that you always hear about at Legoland.
And that's a hot take. You gotta try the apple fries. That's the Legoland
Yeah,
thing.
so move over, Dole Whip. It is apple fry time. Sour apples, Granny Smith apples, deep fried in some kind of sweet batter in sticks form. And they serve it with soft serve frozen yogurt or
just like whipped cream.
Whipped cream to dip in.
You can choose one or the other. We had both because we got one for free and it came with whipped cream.
Yeah. What did you think of the theming? Obviously, everything's Lego. Let's start with the park first and then go to our hotel. We stayed in the
Pirate Island Hotel. And it's basically just attached to the Legoland Hotel.
Yeah, they added onto it, so it's connected. You can get to one internally. So, hot take. Theming, theme park.
There were 2 areas that I felt like exceeded the other areas in terms of theming and being immersive in the world that you are going into. The first one is the Lego Movie World. Amazing theming. It's the newest area of the park. It definitely is themed top to bottom. Really awesome to see that area. And then the second area that I think is also themed really well is the Ninjago area. Again, I think that's probably newer than, it's not as new as the Lego Movie World, but it's probably newer than some of the other areas. Legoland exists in what used to be the Cypress Gardens theme park. So I feel like they may have used some existing structures.
They definitely did.
Some of the other areas.
The rest of the park looks like a very nice, well-kept Florida theme park with Lego models here and there. Whereas the Ninjago area, which is basically just the line to the Ninjago ride, it's pretty small area, and the Lego Movie 2 area look like you're stepping into a different world. Everything matches the theme. The road, the walls, the prints they have on posters, and the builds and everything. Everything is painted and themed to look like what it is. Whereas everything else just looks like a theme park with some very nice gardening, very clean, very well kept. Oh, and there's Lego models everywhere.
Which are amazing, by the way. There was this driving area that we were in, and they had a blue Mustang.
It was completely brick built.
And didn't it like make a noise when you walked up to it?
Yeah, a lot of
like
the models.
The engine would rev.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
Yeah. A lot of the models of people would start speaking to you and tell jokes and stuff when you walked up to them. So here's the problem with Lego, is that it does not keep well in Florida, that harsh Florida weather. You got the salt in the air, that intense, just miserable, sweaty heat. And so it gets dirty. The color drains away. Now, they did have plastic upscaled minifigures and stuff like that. Those looked amazing because they're meant to be out in the sun. They didn't lose their color. They were easier to clean. On the one hand, the Lego models are really cool and impressive, but on the other hand, they can get gross and dirty. The other thing I didn't like, and I'm getting a little picky here, is that I didn't like when they mixed metaphors, in a sense, if that's the best way I can describe it. So my example is in the water park, they had a giant brick-built minifigure scuba diver and a giant brick-built minifigure of a surfer. And when I say brick-built, I mean it's made of Lego bricks, but they're giant. They're almost 2/3 my height. They're in there in a scene, and then between them, they're like running away from a brick-built giant life-size shark. The 2 brick-built people were minifigures, so they were minifig scale. They had the minifig blocky feet and the giant head and the clippy hands. The shark was a realistic shark. I felt like that was a missed opportunity. You have 2 minifigures and then you're mixing a realistic shark. You should have made the brick-built shark a minifig shark, like the shark piece that Lego makes, either the small one, the classic small one, or the large one. And I felt like you saw a lot of that. Sometimes you saw minifigures, sometimes you saw built models.
They had Albert Einstein. That was the one where I felt like I could see the wear and tear from being outside.
Yeah. I don't know what the solution is to that, because you go to a Lego theme park, you want to see awesome giant models. I don't know if, like, would you keep them all indoors? Or at least with a roof over it? I don't know what the solution to that is. You want to move to hotel?
Yeah, we can move to the hotel.
Theming on hotel. Go.
Very, very well done. Again, they had brick-built Lego upsized minifigures in our room. They had a brick-built parrot, which was really cool looking.
There were brick-built parrots everywhere.
Yeah. And there was actually one right at the entrance, or the hallway entrance to our hotel, that moved. Didn't make a sound to you.
Yeah.
There was a little pirate minifigure sitting on a bench right outside the elevators, and he would snore. Oh, and the elevator, when you get on and off of the elevator, there's pirate singing, and sometimes when you would stop to get off the elevator, it would say something like, "Stop, I lost my contact."
Yeah,
or,
his one contact, because he only has one eye.
the hotel is great for younger kids because they have play areas that they can go build with Lego and play on a fake pirate ship. And
They had actors
a
doing
pirate
shows.
jail.
Yeah.
And they
They
had
had actors doing shows constantly, and it was just a 2-actor little thing where they would have audience participation. And even then, those people look like they were having a lot of fun. Like 3 thumbs up to the patron interaction.
Yeah, I think they definitely do a great job. Our little guys loved the pirate jail.
Yeah, it was just this little part of a play area, and they just loved going in there, and they had a cutout in the hallway.
Yeah.
But they used to go, "I'm in Lego jail, I'm in Lego jail."
Yeah.
It's like, if only you could sleep there. But no. And they had giant Lego treasure and building areas everywhere. Even with the COVID stuff, they still had building areas.
Yeah.
Going back to the theme park, a lot of the stuff was shut down. Stuff I was really looking forward to. A lot, not all, but a lot of the ride lines have build areas. It has a sign, "Hey kids, play while your parents save your place in line." All of that was gone. There was no bricks in there at all. There was obviously tables with baskets in the middle where you could build. Some of the games, they just had like carnival games. Some of those were shut down. A lot of the food areas in the park were shut down and not open. They had these cool food trucks that none of them were open. We stood in line for one.
Yeah, there was one that was open, and the 2 things we wanted to order, they were out of.
And they were the 2 top items on their menu.
Yeah.
And they were out, and shortly after that,
They closed.
So I don't know why they even opened. The Taco Tuesday or Taco Every Day that they had in the Lego Movie 2 area wasn't open at all. The Ninjago, I heard about how great this Ninjago food truck thing is in the Ninjago area. That was closed. So we're really limited on food in the park.
I would say that's one of our biggest challenges that I feel like we experienced there. And not only did we experience it in the theme park, but I felt like we experienced it at the hotel also. There was one night, and shame on us, we probably should have research more
This is just
to figure
not
out
knowing.
like that you can't just go and walk into a restaurant there. There's 3 restaurants inside the hotel, and 2 of the 3 of them require reservations for dinner. And if you don't have a reservation, you will not get to eat there.
Just eat at the third one, you say? Well, the third one is a buffet style, a really high-class buffet. So it is like $30, $40 a person, $13 a kid. No, thank you.
Well, our kids don't do a great job of they're very finicky, which I guess is probably true of a lot of children.
Yeah, it's not worth $13 for our kids at their age.
Yeah.
Maybe when they're older, that would definitely be worth it. You're probably getting your money's worth and more for older kids.
Yeah.
But for our kids, that was not worth it. And it was the only place we could just walk in to eat.
Yeah.
So
that
know
being
that.
said, though, if you do stay at the hotel, their breakfast is pretty awesome.
It's included.
And
with
for
your stay.
our trip, it was included in our stay. I think that is normally the case, but please, if you're going, double check something like that. That was a happy surprise. I didn't actually know that breakfast was included. He called when we got there.
I just looked it up. I was like,
Yeah.
what comes with our room? Oh, these people are saying breakfast. Did you think breakfast was included? And she was like, they never told me that. And I walked up and asked, like, yeah, awesome. And all the food,
cool.
while we're on food, all the food was good.
Yeah.
There was nothing that, like, you just bought this from Walmart and heated it up. Even the hot dogs were not like the, baseball hot dogs. They were like good hot dogs. However, it was all crowd pleaser food. So it was all like chicken nuggets, hamburgers, hot dogs. It was all like just the general typical Americana crowd pleasers. There was no options. All the options they had were closed. All the cool stuff was closed, probably due to COVID or lack of
employees.
Who knows? Normally there are more options, but there weren't when we were there.
The food, to me, although it tasted great, the process by which you get it was the disappointment.
Yeah.
In more ways than one.
Yeah.
The lines were long, places were closed, and there was only one restaurant that had mobile ordering.
Supposedly some of the others that were closed had that option as well, but they weren't open. So it was just this trifecta of terrible. My disappointment, again, the food was good, but I was tired of having chicken fingers and french fries. And that's all you had. Theming of the hotel. The floors were really cool. They had carpet.
The carpet.
They had
huge murals, not
printed.
printed.
That ran along the walls.
Ran along the walls. There was a huge one in the room, too.
There was a map that glue up in your room.
It had this really beautiful amber light around it.
The pillows, one of the older prints of an actual Lego 2x2 tile of the pirate map. Actually,
I wanted one of those pillows.
It looks just like a Lego piece, but it's a pillow.
Justin pointed this out to me. I didn't notice it myself, but that in some of those prints, the minifigures would be holding swords or something like that, and they would actually have what looked like a part number on there. I haven't looked it up, so I don't really know if it is real and accurate or not, but that was an attempt at, that extra mile of as far as theming goes. So
back to the theme park, you can plan your day by the ride. And what we did is we did the big rides first, which are typically, not all of them, but are at the back of the park. You told me, I didn't know this, but a lot of theme parks don't open all the rides at once because it takes longer for people to get to them.
That's what we did at the theme park that I worked at.
So the rides at the back of the park that took people longest, they wouldn't open when the park opened.
They would usually open like an hour later and close an hour earlier too. Sometimes.
Really?
Not all the time. That would be something that would happen like on slower days, but like that would. Like closing earlier would not happen on like a Saturday.
Okay.
Opening later was a pretty consistent behavior.
Okay.
At least where I worked. I don't think that's all theme parks.
Not true for Legoland. Everything was open, so we bypassed the crowd and made it all the way to the back where the big rides were. We went straight there, past everything, and went to the big rides. We had this plan of which rides to ride first and everything. And so we got to ride stuff right off the bat.
The first ride that we went to, we were literally the only people in the line. So the boys got to ride it twice because there was no one waiting in line.
They have an app where you can plan the rides and get the wait times and stuff?
They do. You cannot get wait times unless you're on property. I can't look at the Legoland app right now and see what the wait times are.
You have to be logged onto their Wi-Fi or whatever?
You have to be on their property. Okay. I don't know that you have to be on their Wi-Fi, but you have to be at their site.
Free Wi-Fi, rooms, and park.
Yes, yep.
And it's pretty good Wi-Fi. It booted us off once, but that was the only problem.
I took quite a bit of time before we went to try to plan our day, just because I knew the difficulty of what our 3-year-old could do versus what our 7-year-olds could do. I don't want to say that it worked out amazingly, but we got to do everything we wanted to do that was open.
Some rides were closed on Saturday, but open Sunday. I would say we got the park done open to close. We were there the entire time.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, it's only open from 10 to 7.
Yeah, it's a shorter day than maybe some other theme parks that you might have visited before.
So we got to do pretty much everything that was open that we wanted to on Saturday. So Sunday was a bonus. We went in the water park on Sunday because our tickets included the park jumper. The water park is its own section at the back of the park.
And it is a separate ticketed entrance.
This is the entrance to the park, and you have to go all the way up here to get to the water park. So if you only paid for the water park, how do they keep you from, how does that work? Or is it only an addition?
Maybe it's only an
Maybe
addition.
it's only, because how would they keep people from...
I don't think you can do one or the other.
Got it,
I don't
okay.
think you can do the water park without the
But
theme
you
park.
had to walk all the way up to get to the water park, and it's small. However, our kids absolutely loved it. They never got bored of it, and we were like, can we change and go back in the regular park?
I wanted to ride more of the rides in the
they were
theme
like,
park.
no, yay! But they had a blast. The water park is small, but it does have a couple of notable things. One is a gigantic water playground. If you've ever been to Great Wolf Lodge, it's bigger than that. They also have some huge, like, whitewater, if you know what whitewater is, whitewater-sized, ginormous slides. You have to walk way up, and there's 3 of them.
Is it 3?
There's 3 ones without a float, and there's 2 with a float. Maybe 2 or 3 with a float. We never did the float ones.
Okay, so
We
there's
just
5.
did the slide.
Then.
Yeah,
Okay.
5 or 6. And a wave pool, which is a mild
And a
wave
lazy
pool.
river.
And a lazy river, a pretty large lazy river.
Yeah.
And a kid's Duplo little pool splash area with some smaller slides that our 3-year-old could do by herself. And actually our older ones like the Duplo area too. But that's it. We just named everything that's in there. But our boys and our little girl didn't want to leave.
Yeah, even when it poured rain for...
Yeah, they did not want to leave. If you're into that, there are bars. There's a bar in the Pirate House. They serve alcohol at the major sit-down restaurants in the hotel. And there was a bar right next to the Duplo pool.
the big play area in the water park. It's probably pretty amazing for kids, but it is anxiety, stress inducing for parents of toddlers.
We're more helicopter parents a little bit, I would say, just a little bit. I don't mind admitting that. I'm a little too much. Not a lot, not major, but a little bit. And so losing them for minutes at a time in the crowd, and it was so crowded. It was probably the most crowded thing we did was that giant water playground. None of the rides, none of the parks, nothing. Not just walking around, nothing was as crowded and just people on top of people as that giant water playground. And so it was really easy to lose your kids. And that made us nervous. So we did not like that. The other tip that probably just us being ignorant on our part, at Great Wolf Lodge, it's indoors. They give you towels. Not at Legoland. There were no towels. So when it poured on us, we had to go buy towels because we didn't bring. We just both assumed without saying it out loud, oh, they'll have towels there.
Well, the other sort of deceptive part of that is that we would constantly see people with the exact same towels,
which are provided at the hotel.
They
pools.
took them from the hotel.
They brought them from the hotel.
They brought
pools.
them, over to the water park from the hotels.
Yeah,
too,
so you don't need towels at the hotel. You do need towels at the water park if you're going to the water park.
And apparently it's okay to take them from the hotel as long as you return them back to the hotel.
Now, this might all change next week, but as far as masks, if you're worried about that, you are required to wear a mask in line and inside a store. Currently, as of the recording of this video, you did not need to wear it walking around. However, no one did that. I would say it was in the teens, the percentage of people that had a mask, period. And the people who were wearing a mask pretty much wore it all the time, most of the time.
Yeah, and the model citizens were required.
All employees did.
I
Absolutely.
think
I never saw an employee's mouth, ever. I don't know if they ate or how they ate.
I remember seeing the sign, and I think it actually said masks are recommended, not required. So that's why it was a lower percentage.
Okay. Now, on the other side of that, this is a much less crowded park.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the time of year or because of COVID restrictions or just a mixture of all things. But you were not elbow to elbow waiting in line just to pass a group like you are at like Disney or Universal.
The only time you're standing close to people is when you're actually waiting in line. Apparently, area-wise, this is a pretty big park, comparatively speaking to other parks in the area. It's spread out.
There's lots of walking area. Miniland was closed because they're building a giant
like tent
roof basically, a permanent one. Mm-hmm. So that was closed. On one of the rides we got to see it. Best ride for you.
Oh, I loved the Lego Movie ride, Masters of Flight. You get to ride on a triple-decker couch.
much. I liked the flight school where the track was above your head. Mm-hmm. That was fun. And then probably the biggest thrill ride of the whole place was
the Great Race.
The Great Race, which has a virtual... you put on a mask and it has a virtual component. They scrapped that completely. It was just a roller coaster. So when COVID's over, they'll probably bring that back. But there was no VR anything for that ride, but it's supposed to have one. So we did not get the full experience with that.
The least favorite ride?
Oh, don't do boating school.
Yeah.
Don't even wait in line. There was an actual line for this. There was no reason for it. Even the safari tour, seeing the brick-built animals, was more interesting.
Yeah.
Than doing this stupid boat that you could actually control, which you can't control.
To be fair,
there's no fair on this one. This one stinks. Don't depend it.
While we were in line, 2 separate adults dropped their cell phone in the water.
One of them got stuck in the wheels.
So that one
put the boats on track. So this poor employee is sticking his little grabber arm thing down in the water trying to pry this guy's cell phone free. Right after that, I'm not kidding you. It was
literally within 5 minutes.
The next person who got out of a boat dropped their cell phone.
You know,
that wasn't what ruined the ride for me. What ruined the ride is that the boat you couldn't really control. You were supposed to steer it, and it was barely. You couldn't even call it steering.
It was non-responsive, basically.
And there was a pedal to put a motor, and it would go for a minute. And that's it.
And it would stop, yeah.
Not even a minute. Like,
20
I
swear,
seconds.
I think it only actually turned on twice while we were on our boat.
And we were in separate boats,
yeah.
So I had the same experience.
Yeah. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend that one.
There was a bigger line for this than some of the better ones. So it
was kind of crazy.
Skip it completely. The ride would be better if they put the boats on a track. This is what you want to hear. The deals. Did an Atlanta Brick Co. employee see things that the average citizen did not? Was a true LEGO fan able to snatch up some major finds? And the answer is, kinda. So remember, if you've never been to Legoland, it is not run by LEGO.
Merlin Entertainment.
Merlin Entertainment runs the park. I can't remember if LEGO bought it back from Merlin and Merlin still runs it. The point is, your LEGO VIP does not work anywhere. It's a completely different system. They're not connected to LEGO or the VIP at all. So when you buy stuff, no points. However, if you flash your physical VIP card, and they don't scan it or anything, they just need to see it, you get a 5% discount, which is roughly what the points used to equate to before they changed over to their new point system. And that's 5% on everything.
Yeah, food, LEGO, drinks,
t-shirts, everything. You get 5% off. Now, the taxes in Florida are higher than they are in Georgia, so don't forget. We forgot a few times. We bought food and a few other things without showing the card. But you get 5% off on everything, not just Lego. The 2 things I got that were deals was this. For some reason, they had a bunch of these that were crushed. The boxes were messed up a little bit, and so they had them for $2 or $3 off. They just had a bunch of them. The other thing is, now currently, as of the recording of this video, Target has the rights to sell Legoland exclusives, but this is the best deal. Over 1,300 pieces for $100. This was a pretty good deal, plus I got 5% off on this. It's Legoland. Most Targets, you can walk in and get this right now, but you can't get 5% off.
Even with a Target coupon, you probably couldn't.
Probably not. Probably not.
Because Lego would be excluded from that, probably.
Usually Lego is always one of the exclusions. Not good on Lego. The other thing, the lady in the small shop they had in the hotel said about the Legoland exclusives is that contract is up in a few months. I don't know if she's right, if she knows what she's talking about, but she said you will not be able to find the Legoland exclusives in Target for very much longer. So I was happy to get this. And the last one.
This is his most prized possession.
Before I get into this, the other weird thing they had there was the Lego store exclusive Build-A-Fig from Spring 2 years ago. I believe it was 2 or 3 years ago, where they recolored the bunny suit guy into the chocolate bunny suit guy, and they recolored the CMF flower girl in the light blue flower, and they had the fairy wings with the exclusive print on the fairy wings. They had those pre-packaged ones that you could get at the Lego store if you went to the Lego store, the official Lego store, and bought those. You could either dig through the Build-A-Fig or just buy the packets already made. They had a ton of those in more than one store. I didn't get any because I already had those 3. That was like the one odd old thing I saw. Everything else was current.
Only one store where they had Pick-a-Brick, right?
Yes, the Lego factory store had an actual Pick-a-Brick wall, and it was open. Actually, we went to Disney Springs, and their Pick-a-Brick was open as well.
You had to put gloves on, though.
You had to put gloves on,
Yeah.
So the best find of the whole trip, the Creator 3-in-1 Castle. Now, as of the recording of this video, this is on back order. Now, you can get it from Target or Walmart, but can you get it for $20 off? Yes. I have no idea why, but when I got them to ring this up, it was $80 instead of $100. Now, a lot of their prices aren't labeled on the shelves. Some of them, they have a sign with multiple items. Some of them have the prices, and a lot of them don't. And I guess it's so they can move inventory wherever they want, and they don't have to change the sticker. This one did not have the price near it, and it rang up as $80. Plus, I got my 5% off of it. So this was the find of the trip. 1,400 pieces. Sorry.
No,
I'm
you're
smacking
fine.
you in the face. I had the pleasure of going to 3 different Pick-a-Bricks in a short time period. We went to the one in Atlanta recently. We went to the one at Disney Springs while we were down there, and we went to the one on property at Legoland in the factory store.
Yeah.
All 3 of them had different stuff. I did not know that. I thought all Pick-a-Bricks were relatively the same, that Lego sends them the same stuff to every store. So I had no idea, but I am here to attest the truth of it. All of them had different things.
One other cool thing that we got while we were there that is Lego was we got a Lego brick engraved, and
That's at the Lego factory.
yes,
also.
where the Pick-a-Brick wall is in that
And they
store.
did it fast too. There was no line. There was no one ahead of us, so they
Yeah, it
did
was
it in minutes.
super fast.
But you
and
picked an actual Lego brick, any color that they had, and they could do different fonts and whatever you wanted.
yeah, that was pretty cool. We definitely chose to do that as a souvenir.
So that's
of our
unique.
trip.
That's unique. I mean, you could probably buy your own brick and send it somewhere and have them do it. Anything you buy in the place, they can send to your hotel, or I believe they can, if you're not staying at the hotel, they can save it up front for you.
Oh yeah, they can.
So-
you don't have to carry
Carry
a
it
bag
around.
around with
Yeah.
you all day.
Unless you want a t-shirt or a mug or a magnet or something that has the Legoland, you're not going to find anything that's super exclusive as far as sets, other than the Legoland exclusive, which, like we said, right now you can get at Target, and I think you can get them online.
Yeah.
If you want to pay shipping.
Yeah. One of the other things that we got to do at the theme park was to go see a ski stunt show.
Someone told us in the entire world there's only a handful of ski stunt shows in the entire world where someone who is good at that and knows how to do that can do that for a living. Like, it's open year round, and this is one of the few in the entire world. I think there's a Ninjago show that was not running at all,
We saw a theater in that area,
but there was no sign
no
with times or anything.
I think those are the only two live shows.
They did have meet and greets with characters both in the hotel, and we saw one in the Ninjago area, but you couldn't actually walk up to the character. They were fenced off. You had to stand in front of them, both in the hotel and in front of them. But we met Nia and the wizard, Majesto, I think. Something like that. But it's the classic wizard. He was in the hotel. But anyway, so the ski show.
So the ski show, I will tell you, when I told the boys, let's go see this show, that they was like, boo, I don't want to go sit down and see a show. That's boring. And then we watched the show, and the kid was giggling and laughing and in awe of what was happening in front of him the whole time. And afterwards actually said, thank you for making me go see that. It was awesome. So I would definitely highly recommend going to see that. They do 3 a day.
3 a day.
At least when we were there. And the park hours when we were there were 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. And there were 3 shows that day.
It's a combination of a comedy duo act with lines and improvisation. They shoot water guns at the first 2 or 3 rows. And then it's also a ski stunt show with a loose plot that ties it all together. And it's all pirate themed.
I love that they have Lego minifigure costume characters.
Yeah.
And that, all of their acting really has to be done based on their gestures and their
Yeah, it's
emotions.
pre-recorded.
And
Their lines are pre-recorded.
Their lines are pre-recorded,
But the
obviously.
two human actors were live.
Yeah,
So
I like
it was
that.
a funny comedy skit. It was family friendly, but it was still amusing enough for adults. And then you had this awesome stunt show with these amazing physical performances on motorboats and jet skis and anything else.
Yeah. It was awesome.
It was really
very
cool.
good.
And it's covered.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
in a
you're in
covered
the shade. And let me tell you, the Florida heat.
Oh my goodness. Oh my, here's
It was rough
You're
the
giving
first
me
day.
my thank you. I'll step on this platform to rant a little bit. It was miserably hot. I'm not a sweater, but I don't sweat very easily. Standing in the shade, you're just pouring sweat. It's so humid. It's so hot. And there's no breeze because we're not near the ocean or anything. It's actually on a lake. It was nasty. So if you're a sweater, bring a terry cloth handkerchief is what I suggest. Even if you're not a sweater.
They have those cool
Cool band, yeah,
towel
whatever. Yeah.
things.
Speaking of that,
Find
they do,
the fans with the misters.
yeah, they have a lot of those.
Yeah.
Now, like we said, we didn't wait in line that much for anything. I would definitely recommend it. Just know what you're getting into. Do your research. Go on the app and plan your day, but be flexible. And that's with any theme park. Just
Yeah.
be flexible. Know that you're going to get there and it's not going to work out that way. The lines are going to be longer or this ride's going to be closed. They allow you to bring food in. Check-in process for them to go through your bag was super quick. I brought in a bunch of waters, snacks for the kids, and it was fine. You can bring in a whole lunch if you want to carry it. And they have lockers for you if you want to not carry it.
Yeah, we had also the luxury of staying at the hotel, and so we didn't have to drive our vehicle to get to the park. We literally walked out of the hotel doors, took a left, walked down this little path. It was like a 20-second walk. So the person checking the bags was for the hotel guests that were going into the park, so we didn't have to wait in line either time that we did it. That was pretty amazing. We've gone to Disney quite a few times, and we try to be pretty frugal when we do it, so we have not actually ever stayed on Disney property. So the feeling of getting to walk out of your hotel and just walk right over to the park was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Because we've never done that before.
Even at Disney, very few of the hotels are walkable, right?
Right, yeah. I mean,
So you still have to take a tram, a trolley, a bus, something.
well, and the parks are not all right there together. So even if there was a walkable one, like say you're staying at Contemporary or something and you want to go to Magic Kingdom, that you could, I think, walk to. But like if you wanted to go to Animal Kingdom from the Contemporary, you're not walking to Animal Kingdom. You're driving, riding a bus, taking an Uber or something.
If you're not into theme parks in general, give Legoland a try. Because like I said, it's not as crowded. So you don't deal with a lot of the typical theme park stuff that you would at other places. Just because of the types of people that are there, because it's mostly families with small children, and the fact that it's less crowded. I liked it. Even if you're not into Lego, it's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah. You don't have to be into Lego to enjoy Legoland.
But it helps.
It's an added bonus if you are.
Thank you. Hope you enjoy this video, and we will see you very soon. Or I will. I don't know if you'll ever see them again. I don't know. You might be done with these people.
They might be done with me.
All right. Thank you for coming on our show.
Yes, of course.
All right.
Anytime.
I forced her.
Bye.
Bye.